Tonight, the filing deadline for people who want to run for public office is coming up in just a few weeks. 3 people have filed to run for sheriff in Tuscola County, including a man who plans on running as a constitutional sheriff. Terry, it's a name some people will recognize.
Yes, Tiffany, it is Brandon Putman of a family who was featured in a TV reality series and has had his own run-ins with the law. There are a few sheriffs in the country who refer to themselves as constitutional sheriffs, a movement that a former federal prosecutor describes as dangerous. He has been part of the Meet the Putmans reality TV show. He faced federal gun charges and was found not guilty, and even spent several days in the Tuscola County Jail in 2022 for contempt of court, upset that his father was being sent to jail on an assault conviction. Now, Brandon Putman is running for Tuscola County Sheriff, a seat being vacated by the retiring Glen Skrent. Putman's webpage indicates he's running as a constitutional sheriff.
They teach that constitutional sheriffs are the highest law enforcement officers in their jurisdictions, higher than the federal government.
Mary McCord is a former federal prosecutor and is now the executive director of the Institute for Constitutional Advocacy and Protection at Georgetown University and has been monitoring the constitutional sheriff movement across the country.
They preach that they can determine what laws are constitutional or not, and they will decide for themselves what laws to enforce and what laws are not.
Putman's website compares counties with or without a constitutional sheriff. Michigan's most well-known constitutional sheriff is Dar Leaf in Berry County, who has pushed and investigated claims of voter fraud in the 2020 presidential election. Putman's own website states a constitutional sheriff maintains election integrity, a role reserved for county clerks. McCord says the movement's desire to get involved in election administration is when her organization sounded the alarm about constitutional sheriffs.
I think it's dangerous because, for one thing, it's telling the American public something that's just not true, right? That sheriffs have this type of authority that they don't have.
Putman is running as a Republican. I reached out by phone calls and emails to Putman, but I did not hear back.